Welcome everyone to another lecture of botany. Here in the previous classes we have studied about the classification of different living organisms. We studied Whittaker's classification. In today's class we will deal with the different branches of botany. We will deal with different branches of botany. Because of the expanded research and because of the development in the technology and the expanded research resulted in vast accumulation of knowledge which cannot be studied in a single attempt. So, in order to study it properly, here that research has been divided into different branches. So, let us study today and what are the different branches in which we will be dealing here in this class. The first and the foremost branch of botany which we will study is morphology. Morphology, morph, the word morph means form. Study of different forms of living organisms. Morphology is a study which deals with description of different forms of living organisms. How are they? What are the features of them? How they look like? Forms of that is will be dealing with the description of the various different living forms. So, the science which deals with the description, that is it will describe how the living organisms are. So, that will be called as what? Morphology. The word morphology, that is logy, is study. The word logy is study. Morph is form. The different forms of the organisms, how they are, what are the different characteristics they show, what are the different organs they possess. So, study about the different forms or the description of the living organisms. This morphology is broadly classified into two groups. The first is the external morphology and the second is internal morphology. External morphology, that is appearance, outer appearance, how the organism appear outwardly. So, that is called as the external morphology, that is external description, outward description of the organism. How does it look like from outside? When we view it from outside, how does it look like? What are the different organs present? How are those organs? So, all the detailed description from outside. So, that is external morphology, the study of outward form of the living organisms. And the next is internal morphology. In internal morphology, we will study in detail about the internal organs which are inside the body. External morphology will deal with the organs which we can see from outside. It will deal with the organs of different organisms from outside, how it look like from outside. And internal, it is how the organs are how the organs which are present inside the bodies of living organisms. So, next, this internal morphology is again classified under two categories. One is histology and the second is anatomy. Internal morphology, that is study of description of internal organs. So, this is further classified into two categories. One is histology and the another is anatomy. Histology is a science which deals with study of tissues, different tissues present in the living organisms. Histology is a science which deals with the study of different tissues which are present inside the organisms. What are the different tissues present inside the organisms, how those tissues are helping, what functions they are performing. So, study in detail about the tissues. Tissues we cannot see it from outside, so they will be inside the body. So, the first thing is histology, which is study of tissues. Next category is anatomy, that is study of internal organs. Internal organs. External morphology, external appearance, for example in a plant, how it appears, What do we see from outside? When we see a plant from outside, what do we see? Okay, we see leaves which are green in color, we see roots, we see stem from outside. So this description of roots, stem, leaves, flowers, fruits from outside, outward appearance. So that is the external morphology, and the study of roots from outside is external morphology, and that study of roots from inside, what is there inside the root, what are the different things present, what are the different tissues present, how it, so all this. So study of internal organs, what is inside that root, what is inside the stem, what do we find inside the stem, what do we find, what structures do we find inside the leaves. So study about that is called as what? Anatomy. Morphology, study of different forms. This different forms will be having that is outer, study of outward appearance of the different forms is external morphology. Study of inner, that is inside organs, internal organs of the living organisms, and the tissues, that is all related is internal morphology. Next, another branch of botany is cytology. Cytology. Cytology is a branch of science which deals with the structure of cell. Cytology is a branch of science which deals with the structure of cells. What is the structure of cell? What is the function of the cell? And the organelles present inside the cell. Cytology is the study of structure and functioning of cell, and what are the different organelles present inside the cell, what is their function. So study of structure of cell and cell organelles, that is called as cytology. Cytology is a branch of science which deals with the study of structure of cell and the different organelles present inside the cell. Next branch is embryology. Embryology is a branch of science or botany in which will study about how the gametes are formed. How the gametes are formed, where are those gametes formed, how the process of fertilization takes place, how embryo is formed. So how the development of embryo takes place, how it will change into seed, how the embryo will change into seed. So all those things, the study of all the things which is related with the development of an organism, right from the formation of zygote, that is right from how the gametes are formed till an organism is completely formed. Study of different aspects of growth of organisms, right from the formation of gametes till seeds are formed, till an organism, till a new organism is formed. The whole process, the whole development is studied under embryology. So embryology is the science which deals with the development of male and female gametophyte, the structure where gametes are formed, gametophyte, the structure where gametes are formed, how the gametes are formed, what is the process of fertilization, how fertilization takes place, whether it is external or internal, and how after fertilization, how will be the development of embryo, how will be the development of embryo and seed formation, all those aspects of development of a living organism from us, that is all the stages of development. So that is embryology. Embryology is a branch of science which deals with the developmental stages of organisms, right from the formation of gametes till an organism is completely formed. That is embryology. Next, another branch is palynology. Palynology. Here it is a branch of science which deals with all aspects of pollen grains or microspores or pollen grains. Palynology is a branch of science which deals with the development and structure of pollen grains. Structure of pollen grains, or even called as microspores. Pollen grains which are also called as microspores. So, study of pollen grains and its structure and the development, that is called as palynology. Next is taxonomy. Taxonomy, we all know what is taxonomy. We have seen this in the first lesson itself. Taxonomy is a branch of science which deals with identification, classification, nomenclature of different living organisms. Taxonomy is a branch of science which deals with identification, nomenclature and classification of organisms into different taxa. So, that is called as what? Taxonomy. And next, another, physiology. Physiology is a branch of science which deals with the functioning of the organisms, how the organisms functions, what are the different activities, metabolic activities which are carried out inside the body, how are those activities carried out. For example, respiration. Respiration is a vital activity which needs to be performed by all living organisms. So, how respiration is performed, what is the process, what is the mechanism, how photosynthesis is performed, what is the mechanism of photosynthesis, how that absorption of water takes place. Study of all the functioning of all vital activities of plants is called as physiology. How the organism will function, how it will function and how it will carry out all the metabolic activities. So, that is physiology. Next is plant ecology. Plant ecology. It is a branch of science which deals with the relationship between plants and the environment. Plants and the environment in which it lives. So, ecology is the study of relationship between plants and the environment in which the plant will live. Next, Paleobotany. Another branch of botany is Paleobotany. Paleobotany is branch of science which deals with the study of fossil plants, the plants which are extinct. Study of the plants which have been present at some time, now they are not present. So, such plants are called as the fossils. So, study of those fossil plants is called as Paleobotany. The study is very helpful in understanding the process of evolution, how the organism have evolved over the years, in what form they were present, how they were present, in what environment they were present, in the previous years, earlier years at which time they were present. So, how the organisms from that time, how the organisms have evolved till now. So, the study of all the related aspects of study of fossils is called as Paleobotany. Next is genetics. It is a branch of botany which deals with the genes. Genes are responsible for giving characters, how genes are responsible in giving the structure to a plant, in performing the functions of a plant. So, how the inheritance, how the process of inheritance, how the characters are transferred from one generation to another generation, what characters are transferred, how they will be transferred, what is the different process which helps. So, all the study of different aspects of genes of the plants, how the genes will be helping in giving the structure to the plant, how the genes will be helping in inheriting certain characters of the plants in next generation. So, study of genes is called as what? Genetics. Next, we have phytogeography. Phytogeography is, phyto is plants. So, distribution of plants. Study of the science which deals, or the botany which deals with the study of distribution of plants, geographical distribution. where the different plants are present. All plants will not be present in all areas. Some will be present in deserts, some will be present in polar regions, some will be present in tropical forests. So it depends. So based on the geographical area, how plants are distributed, that study is called as phytogeography. Next is plant pathology. Pathology is related with the word pathogens. Pathogens are nothing but disease causing organisms. So study of disease causing organisms, that is the study of organisms which causes disease in plants, and what are the symptoms which we see in the plants, how that organism, that is how the pathogen will affect the plant, how we can control the diseases in the plant. So that is called as what? Plant pathology. That is, plant pathology is a branch of science which deals with the symptoms, because if an organism attacks, it causes disturbances. So that disturbances will be seen in the form of symptoms in the plant. Some spots will be there, or leaves will become yellow, or different symptoms will be shown by the plants. So study of those symptoms and method to control that disease causing organisms and method to control the diseases. So all this will be studied in plant pathology. Next is phycology, study of algae, that is study of chlorophyllous thallophytes, study of autotrophic chlorophyllous thallophytes, that is algae. Plant, that is the kingdom Plantae, is divided into many groups, algae, bryophytes, pteridophyta, that is thallophyta, bryophyta, pteridophyta, gymnosperms, angiosperms. So these are the different groups in which kingdom Plantae is divided. So study of one such group, that is algae. The study of algae, that is autotrophic chlorophyllous forms, is called as phycology. Next is mycology. Mycology is study of fungus. We have already studied about what is fungus, how they work, what type of nutrition they take. They are heterotrophic and they doesn't have chlorophyll. So study about non-chlorophyllous heterotrophic forms, that is fungi, is called as mycology. Then we have lichenology, that is study of lichens. Lichens is nothing but symbiotic association between algae and fungi. So study of this lichens is called as lichenology. Bryology, that is study of bryophytes. Study of bryophytes, or the organisms which belongs to the group Bryophyta, is called as bryology. Pteridophytes, pteridology, that is study of pteridophytes. Pteridology is nothing but study of pteridophytes, that is the organisms which belongs to the group Pteridophyta. So these are the different branches of botany which will be studying. In the next class, we will study about the scope of botany. In this class, we have dealt with the different branches of botany. In the next class, we will deal with the scopes of botany, how botany is helpful to us.